With the first pick of the 2005 NHL entry draft, the Pittsburgh Penguins selected Sidney Crosby, and he went on to be their franchise superstar. With 3 Stanley Cups, 2 Conn Smythe trophies, 3 Ted Lindsay Awards, 2 Hart Memorial trophies, 2 Art Ross trophies, and 2 Maurice Richard trophies, he is a guaranteed first ballot Hall of Famer. But how well would the Pittsburgh Penguins simulate if he wasn't on their team? How's it going, everyone? Welcome back to the channel, and welcome back to our simulation series where we find out how good each team is without their all-star. So in this video, we're going to be simulating the Pittsburgh Penguins. If you're new to the series, what I do is I simulate one season where the team is exactly the same as how it is in NHL 22. So I don't touch any of the rosters. I don't make any moves. I just let EA Sports do its thing in the simulation. I take control of a Western Conference team or an Eastern Conference team, depending. In this case, it's Western Conference. So I have no control over any of the lines that the Pittsburgh Penguins make, any of the moves, the trades, or anything like that. This is purely simulation based, and we find out whether Crosby is a big influence factor for the Pittsburgh Penguins. So in the first simulation, he will be a part of their team, and then I will reset everything back again. Everything will be exactly the same. I'll just take him off the team, and we will see exactly how good the Pittsburgh Penguins are without him. So without further ado, let's jump into some simulation. Okay, and here are the Pittsburgh Penguins to start the season off. We have Malkin, Crosby, and Jake Guentzel. They're really loading up that first line. Second line, Brian Rust, Evan Rodriguez, and Rickard Rakell. Third line, Jason Zucker, Jeff Carter, and Kasperi Kapanen. And finally, Teddy Bluger, Brian Boyle, and Brock McGinn. A deep, deep team here in Pittsburgh. We have Chris Letang and Mike Matheson on the first D pairing, which is funny because Matheson's no longer a Penguin and Dumoulin is usually with Letang, but hey. Second pairing, Brian Dumoulin and John Marino, and third, Chad Ruhwedel and Marcus Peterson. Between the pipes, we have Tristan Jarry at an 86 overall and Casey DeSmith. So this team should simulate well, especially with Sidney Crosby, but let's jump into the simulation. Okay, so here we are 25 games into the regular season, and the Pittsburgh Penguins' first line is absolutely tearing it up. Sidney Crosby has 30 points, Jake Guentzel has 27, and Malkin has 24. They're a plus 14 and 15. Yeah, they're just destroying the whole league. Brian Rust here with 17, but at a minus 15, that's not great. Rickard Rakell 12 points. Kasperi Kapanen 11 points, Jeff Carter 10, and the rest of the gang down here. Chris Letang only with 9 points, but who knows in the rest of the simulation. Goalies wise, we have Tristan Jarry 9, 8, and 3. Don't love to see that. He has an 892 save percentage. Jeez, he's playing awful. And Louis Domingue is the backup goalie this year with a 3-3-0 record and a 947 save percentage. This playoff Louis Domingue, what the hell is going on here? Yeah, he's a worse overall than Casey DeSmith, but I guess Casey got injured. But hey man, let's look at the Pittsburgh Penguins in the standings. After 25 games, the Pittsburgh Penguins here are ranked 3rd in their division at 12, 10, and 3. They have a 2.68 goals for per game and a 3.04 goals against. How are they even above 500 with those numbers? I don't know, but hey man, I guess that first line is carrying them. They only have a 15-ish% power play and an 82% penalty kill, which is pretty good. In the entire league, that places them at 14th in the league. So we'll see if they can turn this season around a bit and climb the ranks a little bit more, but I'll catch you guys halfway through the season. Okay, here we are halfway through the season, and the first line is continuing its brilliance as Sidney Crosby has 48 points in 41 games. Jake Guentzel's here, point per game, and Evgeny Malkin already has 21 goals in 41 games for 39 points. They're plus 15, 13, and 16 combined. They just need some help in the middle six, really. Brian Rust, 27 points. Rickard Rakell, 22. Kasperi Kapanen, 20. Maybe think about, spreading the love and changing the lines if you're the GM, but hey, that's not my decision to make. On defense, what's it looking like? Chris Letang with 14 points. Dumoulin with 8. Peterson with 8. The rest of the crew hanging down here. And between the pipes, Tristan Jarry 16, 13, and 5 with 1 shutout. His numbers got better, I guess, but they're still not great. Casey DeSmith came back from injury 1-1 and 906 save percentage. Yeah, you need your goaltenders to step up a bit, and you need the middle six to definitely improve a little bit. Let's see where they are in the standings. Okay, so in their division, they have maintained third place. They have 45 points in 41 games. They are 20, 16, and 5 with 16 regulation and plus overtime wins. They have a 2.73 goals for per game and 2.95 goals against. So I'm pretty sure those numbers got better. In the entire league, however, it looks like they dropped a few spots as they're now 16th in the league, but they are still in a divisional playoff spot. So that's good for them that their division's a bit weak, but it's looking a little slim on if they'll make the playoffs or not. I'm not quite sure. That division is pretty competitive, so they're going to have to turn it around. Maybe they'll make some moves happen at the trade deadline, and if they do, I'll let you know. Let's jump back into simulation. Okay, so here we are. It is 1 day past the trade deadline, so these will be the finalized lines for the Pittsburgh Penguins. It looks like they made a couple of line changes throughout the season. They got Bryan Rust up with Sidney Crosby and Jake Guentzel, so that real-life first line is reunited in the simulation. On the second line, they have Evgeny Malkin with Zucker and Raquel on his wings. We have Evan Rodriguez, Teddy Bluger, and Jeff Carter on the third line, and Brendan Peary, Danton Heinen, and Brock McGinn on the fourth. On defense, they have Mike Matheson and Chris Letang, John Marino with Marcus Peterson, and Chad Ruedel with Taylor Fidun. But they also have a couple of injuries in Kasperi Kapanen and Brian Dumoulin, so this is a pretty deep team. They have a lot of options they can do, a lot of lineup changes they can make. Between the pipes is still Tristan Jarry and Casey DeSmith. So I don't think they made... Well, they definitely didn't make any big moves, like they didn't trade for any 85 plus overall guys. So this is going to be the team that's going to have to get them into the playoffs. Let's see where they are in the standings. So currently, the Pittsburgh Penguins are sitting 6th in the Metropolitan Division. They are not in a wild card spot, and they are not in a divisional playoff spot, and it doesn't look like they're going to get in one, to be honest. They had a horrible last couple of games. Well, actually, let's see if they did. Let's see what their last 10 look like, because I feel like it's awful. Okay, it's not that bad, 5-4-1, but I swear they were like a little bit above 500, like more above 500 than one win. So I feel like they had a big losing streak in that couple of months there, but they're now 29, 28, and 6 with 24 regulation plus overtime wins. And that's just not getting it done. In the entire league, the Pittsburgh Penguins are 22nd, so it looks like the playoffs are a wash. They're not getting into the playoffs, probably. And once again, the simulation without the superstar, much like in the Connor McDavid one, which I'll link down below if you haven't watched it already, but much like that one, it looks like the Pittsburgh Penguins are not going to be making the playoffs with Sidney Crosby. But let's jump to the end of the season. And this right here is absolutely heartbreaking stuff. The Pittsburgh Penguins crawl their way back to 4th place in their division, in their division with a record of 40, 35, and 7. But check this out. If we go to the Atlantic, they finish 2 points behind the Detroit Red Wings, and thus they're not making the playoffs here in the first simulation. In the entire league, they finished 19th with their record. Like I said, 2 points back of the Detroit Red Wings. You know, you could say Minnesota or Winnipeg kind of got screwed out of the playoff spot. And, you know, I might agree with you, but, hey man, it's not about them. It's about Pittsburgh. They didn't make the playoffs. They finished 19th. And now let's see what the team looks like. Or let's see what the stats of the team looked like with the individual stats. So here we are at the individual stats. Sidney Crosby put up another 30-goal season with 50 assists for 82 points on the dot in 81 games played. Jake Guentzel slowed down big time. He was no longer a point per game. He has 14 goals and 58 assists. More of an assists man in the simulation, I guess. 72 points. Evgeny Malkin with 34 goals, 36 assists for 70 points on that second line. And Bryan Rust here, 49 points, 24 goals. Rickard Rakell with 39 points. And Chris Letang only with 38. Bit of a letdown, but defense tend to simulate pretty poorly in EA games. I feel like Teddy Bluger with 31. Jeff Carter with 30. The rest of the crew hanging back here. But the biggest problem, between the pipes. Tristan Jarry, you can't have a negative record as a starting goalie and expect to be a playoff team. 28 wins, 29 losses, and 6 overtime losses for 3 shutouts, a .906 save percentage, and a 2.86 goals against average. Frankly, just not good enough for a starting goaltender. In the entire league here, Sidney Crosby finished with 82 points. That's good enough to put him 9th in the entire league. So I'm sure when we do the simulation without him on the Pittsburgh Penguins, they're going to be sorely missing that offense. But we'll never know until we try. So let's find out how good the Pittsburgh Penguins are without Sidney Crosby. Okay, so here are the second simulation version of the Pittsburgh Penguins. They're the same team with different lines for some reason because the GM does that. Look, I can't edit their lines. I have no control. I can't see their chemistry. You guys know I'm not controlling them, so don't blame me for Brian Rust being on the third line and Brock McGinn being on the second. It's not my fault, I swear. But here's what they look like. They have Jake Guentzel, Evgeny Malkin, and Rickard Rakell up there on that first line. The second line is Jason Zucker, Jeff Carter, and Brock McGinn. Third line, we have Brian Rust, Danton Heinen, and Teddy Bluger. For some reason, Brian Rust is down here. Don't ask me. I don't know. Fourth line, Evan Rodriguez, Brian Boyle, and Nathan Beaulieu. On the defense, it looks the same as before. Mike Matheson and Chris Letang, John Marino and Brian Dumoulin, and Marcus Peterson and Taylor Fidun, or however you say that. Between the pipes, same thing as last year. Tristan Jarry and Casey DeSmith. They're really going to need a better performance out of Tristan Jarry in the simulation if they want to beat 19th place. So let's get halfway through the season. Okay, so here we are halfway through the season, and Jeff Carter is the Pittsburgh Penguins' leading point man with 10 goals and 21 assists for 31 points in 41 games. He's having a bit of a resurgence here. That's pretty wild. Okay, Evgeny Malkin here with 17 goals in 38 games for 30 points. Rickard Rakell, 25. Jake Guentzel, 25. Yeah, his production drastically drops off when he doesn't have Sidney Crosby passing him the puck. But I feel like that's a bit disrespectful, you know? Not that he's, he can do stuff without Sidney Crosby, too. You know, it definitely helps playing on a line with him. But I think that's a bit disrespectful. Only have him at 25 points in 41 games? I don't know. But Chris Letang somehow is going off this year with almost as many points as he had in the last simulation in this one. Crazy. Teddy Bluger, 24. Jason Zucker, 22, 21. And you can let me know if any of these stats seem weird. Brian Rust with only 21 points seems a bit strange. He's a +6 though, so don't look too far into it. Between the pipes, how are the goaltending? Still awful. Okay, yeah. Tristan Jarry, 18, 11, and 2. Good record. 1 shutout, but .902 save percentage and a 2.91 goals against. It's not ideal at all. Casey DeSmith is way worse. I wouldn't even play him. 3-7-0 with an 896 save percentage and a 3.65 goals against average. Get Louis Domingue back up here, bro. He can make some meals for the players or whatever. He's a chef, isn't he? But let's check out where the Pittsburgh Penguins are in the standings. Okay, so in the Metropolitan Division, the Pittsburgh Penguins are 6th place with their record of 21 wins, 18 losses, and 2 overtime or shootout losses. So if they can get that a bit higher, a bit more overtime losses, stop losing in regulation so much. Look at the New York Rangers, by the way, 28-9-5. Jeez. But yeah, if the Pittsburgh Penguins, they can stop losing in regulation so often. Yeah, I know it's that easy, eh? Just stop losing. But their goals for per game is 2.93. I think that's higher than when they had Crosby, but their goals against is also higher, so that's not exactly helping them too much. The power play dropped 14%, and their penalty kill is 85%. In the entire league, they are 18th place with their record, so 1 spot above where the last Pittsburgh Penguins finished their season. So as long as they can keep this pace, I think they have a shot at beating the team without Sidney Crosby. So let's see how the rest of the season goes. Okay, so here is what the Pittsburgh Penguins look like at the trade deadline. They have Malkin with Rickard Rakell and Jake Guentzel on his wings. They have Jason Zucker centered by Jeff Carter, and then Brock McGinn's on the right side. Brian Rust is still below Brock McGinn for some reason. I don't know why. Danton Heinen's in the middle, and Teddy Bluger's on the left. Teddy Bluger should probably be taking faceoffs instead of Danton Heinen, but whatever. then Brian Boyle, Evan Rodriguez, and Kasperi Kapanen on that fourth line. But here is where it gets interesting because the Pittsburgh Penguins made a move at the trade deadline. So they have Mike Matheson and Chris Letang the same as before, but they decided to reach into their pockets and get Erik Karlsson for their second D pairing here with Brian Dumoulin. A great D pairing, I think. I think these guys would be great together in real life. Maybe we'll see Jeff Petrie and Brian Dumoulin. Who knows? But Erik Karlsson and Brian Dumoulin, that's sure to bring them good simulation. Maybe even get them into a playoff spot. I'm not sure. But then their third line, Marcus Peterson and John Marino. Between the pipes, it's the same deal as before, Tristan Jarry and Casey DeSmith. So let's look at where they are in the standings. Okay, so in the standings, it looks like the Pittsburgh Penguins somehow crawled their way into a divisional playoff spot. That's what I like to see. They have 72 points in 63 games played. They are 35, 25, and 4. How? I don't know. Erik Karlsson may be bringing them that offense. Yeah, 3.13 goals for per game, 3 goals against per game, a 16% power play, and an 85% penalty kill. In the entire league, they are here ranked 10th place with their record, which has them killing the simulation with Sidney Crosby. So I'm not sure what it is about EA Sports and having your stars, but apparently they don't mean anything in the simulation. So go out, if you're doing your franchise modes, just go out, trade your all of your stars for just prospects and picks, because apparently they mean jack all. Looking at their individual stats, Malkin already has a 30-goal season here in 60 games with 54 points. Rickard Rakell has 48 points in 63 games. Jeff Carter no longer leading the team in points, but still has 47 and 59. I think you'd take that. Jake Guentzel with 45 and 63. Chris Letang 43 and 63. Slowed down a bit, but still better than last simulation. Erik Karlsson down here, the newest Pittsburgh Penguin with 33 points in 53 games, a -9. But with the Penguins, he has not played a game yet, so I guess that we're not going to see his stats with the Penguins yet. We'll see them at the end of the season, and the rest of the crew pulling their weight down there. Between the pipes, Tristan Jarry finally pulled his act together a little bit. 28, 15, and 3 with 3 shutouts. Casey DeSmith, please never play again. 4, 10, and 1. But Tristan Jarry has a 9.11 save percentage and 2.67 goals against average. Let's get to the end of the season and see if this Pittsburgh Penguins team beats the one with Sidney Crosby. Okay, so here are the individual stats for the Pittsburgh Penguins in the second simulation. We have Evgeny Malkin just missing out on a 40-goal season, but he only played 79 games, so I'm sure he could have got there. Rickard Rakell with 66 points. Jake Guentzel with 61. Chris Letang with 61. He turned it on late. Brian Rust with 54. Jeff Carter with 53. All these guys pulling their weight down here. Erik Karlsson only with 39. He only scored 6 points in 19 games with the team and was a -2. But I have some exciting news. That's right. The Pittsburgh Penguins pulled it out. They came around and went 44, 30, and 8 to give them a yet another consecutive playoff berth. I'm actually going to stay on board with them and see what they can do in the playoffs, but needless to say, this team simulated way better than the one with Sidney Crosby. In the entire league, they finished 9th place with their record, and it gives them a divisional playoff spot, and let's see what they can do in those playoffs. Pittsburgh fans, I am so sorry, but yet again, you fell in 7 to the New York Rangers. At least this time, the Rangers finished 3rd in the entire league, so it's nothing to be ashamed about, but you had another first-round exit. But hey, it's definitely safe to say that this team simulated much better than the one with Sidney Crosby. And here we are looking at the individual player stats. Man, Malkin tried everything to get this team above and into the next round of the playoffs, out of that first round exit slump. He did everything he could. He has 7 goals in 7 games played for 11 points. I mean, Chris Letang also tried his best with 10 points in 7 games. Rickard Rakell was point per game. Yeah, you got the offense. It was just, you guys just played a great team. So sometimes that happens in the playoffs, but hey, that's gonna do it for this video. If you guys liked it, please leave a like, comment anything you want me to do, any other simulations you'd like to see. Maybe if you want me to do one about New York, maybe getting rid of Panarin, getting rid of Igor Shesterkin. Let me know anything and everything. All your comments are greatly appreciated, and constructive criticism always helps me out. But that's it for me today, guys. I'll see you in the next one.